Hey guys, Thunder E here and welcome to another gaming video. This time of course we're looking at the Pixel 7 Pro and the Pixel 7 to find out how well the new Tensor G2 chip performs on both devices. Now you guys know I do gaming videos on this channel, and last year we took a look at the Pixel 6 Pro and the Pixel 6 to see how well it performs with the Tensor G1, and this is what we found. But it also means that a lot of things there do not match up to high-end mobile gaming at this point. I don't know if it's the processor itself or if it's just software. So this year, we're trying to find out if the Tensor G2 is better on these devices. So quickly, some dimensions and specs for you. The Pixel 7 Pro is a 6.7-inch device, 120 Hz display, 5,000 milliamp battery, Tensor G2, 12 gigs of RAM, while the Pixel 7 is a 6.3-inch device, 90 Hz display. We've got like a 4,300 milliamp battery roughly, and we've also got a device that has 8 gigs of RAM. Now, I want to give a big shout out to our sponsor of this video, Spigen. They make some really awesome cases and accessories for the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro, and these are made for Google certified. Okay, so first thing we want to do, of course, is check out benchmark. What are the new benchmarks for the G2 processor? Well, I can't really show you that because Geekbench is not updated for this, at least at this point in time. So I get this message here when I try to download it that it does not support this device. So I cannot give any benchmarks on both the 7 Pro and the Pixel 7. What we are going to do is show you gameplay. I can give you gameplay benchmarks, and I will also give you some speaker demos as well. Now, the one thing the Pixel has carried over from the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro to the 7 and 7 Pro is you now have, of course, you still have that built-in game benchmarking tool where you can go in. It has a floating bar. You can see your benchmarks on screen, which is pretty nice. It also turns off, of course, notifications for you, and you can screen grab and record on screen. So that tool is there. So let's start off with our very first game, which of course is Call of Duty Mobile. Now, Call of Duty Mobile on the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro, both can run the game at the ultra settings, and we got some really great performance from this here. So you've got that smooth refresh rate, game looked really nice and smooth. And on the Pixel 7 Pro, we got 89 frames per second, which is solid and comparable to everything on the market right now. And the Pixel 7 itself got 90 frames per second. So Pixel 7 Pro, 89, Pixel 7, 90 frames per second. Then we move over, of course, to Apex Legends. Now, Apex Legends is a game that has a lot of different settings, and we kind of went with the ultra setting here for Apex Legends, and we're able to get a nice, clean, solid 60 frames per second on both the Pixel 7 Pro and the Pixel 7, allowing for really smooth gameplay, and it really performed very well. And also temperatures were in check. We'll get to temperatures in a second. And as we move on here to PubG Mobile. Now, PubG Mobile is where we got some really solid benchmarks. So PubG Mobile on both Pixel 7 and 7 Pro, game played well when we played at, of course, Ultra HD Ultra, which is now available on the Pixel 7 Pro. Remember last year we couldn't actually get this to run at that setting. We're able to get a solid 40 frames per second on both devices, so that was actually pretty good. And then we got to play at Smooth Extreme, and we got a solid 60 frames per second for both PubG Mobile on both Pixel 7 and Pixel 7 Pro. Now, you're going to be asking, what about Genshin? We'll get to Genshin in a second. Let's talk about, of course, battery drain and also, of course, charging here. Now, when it comes to battery drain, use the device, the Pixel 7 Pro, for about 2 hours of gaming and lost about 30% battery life. That includes playing Genshin Impact for about 45 minutes and then playing the other games that I mentioned earlier for the rest of the time. So that's actually pretty good. The Pixel 7 actually had slightly less battery life drain from 100% at around 25 to 28. In that time period. So that was actually pretty good to see there, playing again Genshin Impact for most of the time at around 30 minutes or so. Then the rest, of course, on the other games mentioned. So really solid battery performance. But of course, how do you charge these devices? This is where, of course, our sponsor comes in this video. Now, Speaking does provide a lot of great accessories for the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro. That also includes the Speaking Power Arc ArcStation Pro charger. It's a 30-watt charger. It's a GAN charger that does really fast charging at the top speeds you would expect on the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro. Now, not only that, I also have a couple of cases that I definitely like to use, and that includes the Liquid Air on the Pixel 7 Pro, as well as also the Rugged Armor on the Pixel 7. Both cases allow for better cooling on the devices that I use, especially while gaming, but also I do like the texture on the Liquid Air. It gives me more grip on the device, as well as the nice, smooth, and comfortable surface on the Rugged Armor for more protection. So for me, it works well for my gaming needs and also keeps the devices safe and protected. Now we're moving on to Genshin Impact. This is where, of course, we had huge issues last year with the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro. Now, Genshin Impact last year did terrible, where we got about 41 frames per second. And this year, it's no different, except it does take slightly longer. Last year, I mentioned that it took about 2 to 5 minutes to get to 41 frames per second. This year, it was around 10 to 11 minutes where it got to those frame rates. So the frame rates dropped really fast to that point, which was very, very disappointing. And of course, this is playing Genshin Impact at its highest settings of 60 frames per second. So that immediate drop was kind of drastic to see compared to other devices that do have, of course, much better frame rates and keeping it at a higher level or taking a longer amount of time to get to those lower frame rates. Now, in terms of temperatures though, I do have to give it to Google that they've maintained their temperatures and it doesn't run extremely hot. So temperatures go to around 106, 107 degrees, especially playing Genshin, which is a very power hungry game, which is equal to about 40 to 41 degrees Celsius or 106, 107 degrees Fahrenheit. So temperatures were consistent to what I got last year in terms of using these devices. So I do like that. I wish it still was a bit cooler, but it's still better than a lot of devices out there, mentioning the Galaxy or even the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Now, when it comes to using accessories and streaming services, well, you know, Xbox Game Pass plays very well on the Pixel 7 Pro and the Pixel 7. It also works really well with my Razer Kishi V2, so that camera bump doesn't hinder while using that accessory. So that's something you guys can definitely pick up. And of course, we have to mention for the very last time Google Stadia, because we know that service is dying, but if you're still using it, you can go ahead and use it on your Pixel 7 and 7 Pro without any issues. But I'm just gonna say a last word in prayer for Google Stadia. You will be not really missed, but nice try, Google. Anyway, guys, that is gaming on this device. To summarize everything for you, well, you've got really good gaming performance when it comes to a lot of your main FPS shooters, from Call of Duty to Apex performs well. If you're gonna be playing something like Genshin Impact, then you're gonna see that huge drain, especially when you're playing at a high frame rate. You still can play the game pretty well, but don't expect to max it out on the Pixel 7 or the 7 Pro. Streaming services do work, as also I know some of you are going to be asking me about emulators. Does work well as well. That's just something that works pretty standard. And when it comes to audio, before we go, I'll leave you with this quick sample from both devices so you can hear how well they work. Okay guys, thank you very much. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned to see how the Pixel 7 Pro compares to the Galaxy S22 Ultra in our next video. Till then, always enjoy your entertainment.